Good afternoon, everybody. As you know, as you heard, I'm Andre Hasbrook from Paul, and I'm privileged to be on the board of Valley of Abundance, which was founded and still directed by Johan. He's the CEO. I think it's a title which is a bit of everything. He's very much executive and very much doing a good job. Johan comes all the way from the Northwest. He studied up there. He got a financial qualification. Johan has got an incredible passion for people. That's his PhD. And Johan decided, instead of going down the tar road of a business, he went on the dusty gravel road of following Jesus in his passion. One of the things that is passionate to me is unity in the community. And Johan explained what he was trying to do. He said, he can't understand, and certainly I can't understand, why we've got all these people in the community and we're all doing different things. Why cannot government and business and churches and NGOs get together around a unified calling and make a difference to the community? There's a lot to be gained and had for us as people if we are in unity. So, Johan, over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rian, for this opportunity, and everyone attending. It's a privilege for us to be here. My name is Johan, Duraan, and I just want to welcome Aldo Meyer as well. He's a fellow board director of Valley of Abundance, and Andre is the chairman, and many of you guys I know around the table here. So Valley of Abundance, our vision is communities of abundance, and where it comes from, in 2011, I was working at the mine in Rustenburg, and heard of 2 children dying next to the mine, did a presentation to our executives, and told them, listen, we need to do things differently. We can't drive away with our brand new Mercedes and big bonuses, and people are dying next to our mine. And the first guy said, Johan, it's not our problem, it's government. Second guy said, we can't feed and help everyone. We went around the table, and 1 or 2 people said we needed to do something. The reality is we didn't do enough. And a year later, 34 people died at our mine. And at that stage, a lot of the money was flowing into that community. But the problem was that everyone, one mine, one church, one NGO, everyone was spending it differently. So shortly after that, we moved down to the Paul Valley, founded Valley of Abundance, and Valley of Abundance is all about unity. Psalm 132, where there's unity, God commands a blessing. So we started working together and see how we can get a unified vision for our valley, and we started working on that, getting a lot of people on board. That was 2014, and shortly after that, we said, but we needed something physical in the community to do it with, and for me, it was just so amazing, Warren speaking before us. We need that physical place in the community to transform communities. And the greatest place to do that is schools. So we've got 30,000 schools, current schools in South Africa. And if you use that school as an enablement center in a ward, you can transform the ward. So how do we use that school currently, and we bring the projects into the school, and from the school we move it out and backwards. So that is what we started building in 2015. Quickly you can see a lot of detail. I'm a financial guy. That's just our process and our model that we're currently following, going into a new community or into a new school. I'm not going to go into too much detail. But our first one is to say, how do we do holistic community transformation? And that is using a school as a enablement center. We started working at Bergendal School, just after Parel. We did a strategy for the school. We did a strategy for the whole ward. Started sharing that with businesses. Businesses came on board and said, let's implement the strategy. We got some partners on board. And everyone bought into this whole vision for the school that we've been working on for a year. And then this year, recently in the past week, we also started with a new school in Ceres, and everybody loved the idea, and we started implementing a strategy for them as well. And suddenly 6 more schools opened up in Ceres. So we're going back there to go and do a strategy for those schools as well. One of the wind farms there need to spend their money in the community, and they see this as a perfect opportunity to spend their money getting involved at enablement centers in schools. What you can see there is not just understanding the school, but also the ward. So normally a ward is made up of about 10 to 15,000 people. You can look at the stats there. The stats in Agterparel is that the family earns about 30,000 Rand a year. It's about 2,500 Rand a month per family. Understanding that, and it says it's 70% people are employed, but actually it's not true. Employment is calculated, if you work 6 months a year, you're actually calculated as employed, but the other 6 months you're not. So the stats are actually a lot worse. So understanding the challenges in the school, we do a SWOT analysis for that school. That's the bottom one is a picture we did on Monday in a school in Ceres. And from the SWOT analysis, we then draw up a vision for that school, a mission, but not just for the school, but for the whole ward, how we can use that school to transform the ward. It was so amazing. The headmaster in the school in Morrisdale told me there's this whole classroom standing in the back with equipment that we're not using. We can bring the whole ward, or we can bring the people in and we can train them here. Of course, it's just standing there. It's not being utilized. So we're looking how we can use the current infrastructure at the schools to train a lot more people after hours, because the schools are only open until 2 in the afternoon. So there's a lot you can do in the afternoons and evenings. So as Andre said, strategy is my passion. So I do a whole strategy with the school, with objectives, all the partners that's involved in that. The idea is not that you can see the detail in that, just showing the whole plan that we do with the school. Then I take this plan and we convert it into a budget. You'll see the next slide is a detailed budget of what it will cost. So last year we spent 500,000 rand at Bergendal. Next year we plan to spend 1 million. And we can do 7 projects in one school for about 30,000 rand a month. So if you want to scale that to all 30,000 schools in South Africa, it's quite a bit of money. But if you take one business that adopt one school, it's 30,000 rand a month for one business to transform and have an impact on 2,000 to 3,000 people immediately. So if you look at the tipping point in a community, if you can do one school with their parents and everyone, it's probably about 10% of that whole ward. So you can really have an impact and change the whole ward by focusing on the school, focusing on the parents, focusing on the teachers and everyone around in there. The second thing we've seen is that entrepreneurship is one of the key things, and also putting up entrepreneurs help at the school. And thirdly, looking at sustainable funding ways. So this morning I had a webinar also on live, a YouTube webinar, where we actually had the guy from Funded by Me. He started a crowdfunding platform in Europe, and he did a presentation for us today, how we can really fund entrepreneurs with crowdfunding platform on that. So the conclusion is we really believe in unity. We believe in the call that God has on our country, and that we're going to be the light of the world in the end time. And through unity, God can do amazing things in our country. And using schools as enablement centers. So we believe it's the easy model that we can duplicate across South Africa, and you can even duplicate it wider into Africa, which is our heart as well. So what do we need? For one school, as I stated to you guys, we need about 360,000. We have already got people who, the Bergendal school is funded, and then one in Ceres is funded, but we want to roll out 9 of these enablement centers across South Africa by 2024. And there's a lot of infrastructure development that needs to happen at the schools that we need to do. So these are just some of the pictures and some of the work we've done at the school, doing some renovations, working with the people, some of the ward councillors doing amazing work with us. So we involved the ward councillor as well, understanding what the IDP says, and get what we can from them as well. Just want to show the next one. So that is Bergendal. The bottom left is the new classroom we built there. So Claytel sponsored for us a new grade 7 classroom there that was built. And on the right-hand side is we had our first prayer session in that classroom last week, Friday. And then the last slide is just the Morrisdale one that we enabled this week, where we have a plan. We're going back next week to start implementing that, and there's 6 other schools there that also want to follow the same process. What they love, that it costs the school nothing, the businesses love it because they get a place where they know the money will be spent and it's going to have an impact. I didn't start off with that first slide. It says 100 billion rand is spent annually in Africa, and it says that 85% of that has 0 or low impact. And what we're trying to do here is see how we can have bigger impact with the money that people give us. Thank you so much.